The time has come. Welcome to the last part of the Nioh 2 Featherless speedrun tutorial. It's been a journey, I guess. And yeah, let's get on with it. Dawn of the Demon. I must say that this has taken me way longer than it should have because of me starting my studies, so it definitely has taken more of me than I thought. But yeah, I equipped the soul core box quickly. And yeah, you can also change to something else if you feel like it. But right now, we're good with that. Prepare the items as well. Now get this cat over here. And while you're petting the cat, you can use 4 spirit stones, 2 limited crystals, whatever you have that gives you 100. Alright. Now, look at the Enki. Okay, so I'll explain now. The Enki is your biggest annoyance in this part. Sometimes he'll be nice like he was right now, and other times he'll be a pain in the ass and will do a burst attack and all that stuff. I know, I cannot really give you a lot of advice with how to get this key item when things get rough with Enki. But keep that in mind, just be very careful about the Enki. If you see something dangerous, you can always just either YOLO it and say, I went for it, and if I die, at least I didn't lose that much time, or you can just try to be on the safer side and, either end up losing a bit of time because you took the safety and then getting the item, or, you could also just not manage to get the item after all. But yeah, it depends. So yeah, good luck with that. Anyways, we'll rush. Open the door. Now, I'm gonna get this shortcut right here, just to show it to you. Alright. And you can descend, or you can just go back. I would recommend going back up, because that's kind of the goal here. For me, it would have been more convenient to jump down. I'll show it to you later what I would do in that case, because the difference here for me is that if I do this fight and then I quit out or whatever, I just basically reset my progress. I have to do everything again. But I'll have the cat again. If I don't do that, if I go to the shrine immediately and just save that, then I won't have the cat and I won't have as much stamina, anima. Sorry. So yeah, it really depends. I will try to guide you in the case of what happens if you do die and all that stuff. In which case I will just give you 1 or 2 examples with the cat, and then I'll get the shrine and give you examples without it, okay? But you'll always get the cat, it's just that you're not always gonna get it. You're not always gonna get the first try, so you will not have the cat anymore. Anyways, this boss fight, I just buffed with barrier. It is not completely necessary, but it helps. You can also buff with lightning stop, but if you do buff with more than one thing, I would recommend doing it in this part. Just go to the right and buff with that. But that's more like safety stuff. Next thing that we're gonna do is just open the door, switch to the axe, and... No, actually no, that's a lie. That's what I used to do. Now what I do is open the door, skip cutscene, buff the sword with purity. Okay. And then remember what happened with what is it called? With the Tsuchigumo? It's more or less something like that. Okay? It's pretty much exactly that, honestly. So you just if you do it properly at the start, he will always start the same way. He will do like the combo attack that ends at a slam with the water sword and all that stuff, and you can just get in and do a Morning Moon quickly, and then flux to low stance and dodge. After that, it's just basically doing sword key. And then the moment that you get him to very, very low key, like basically Kasha, and he gets rid of all his key, or the moment that you get rid of all his key, use Kasha. And it's almost like the Tsuchigumo, but instead of doing Morning Moon and then Axe, like a flash attack and then some attacks with the Axe, you're just gonna do Axe straight away. Okay, after the Kasha, you're just gonna use Kasha, switch to the Axe, and start doing attacks with it. After that, after you do what's probably gonna be, depending on the situation, but it's probably gonna be Heaven and Earth. You should probably be able to do Yokai Shift, and then you can do another Kasha and just finish the fight. Honestly, it should not be very far away from getting defeated, like to the range of HP, just like with the William fight or the Yurimitsu fight. You don't reach 0 HP. So yeah, let's go. Okay, but with purity, dodge, get in, Morning Moon. And then we can start doing sword key, sorry. Make sure we dodge that, for sure. There we go. Kasha. Switch to the Axe. That's a bit unfortunate. It's fine though. Use Kasha. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. It's fine, you can still do it. Yeah, make sure to dodge that with that if you need to. Okay, so I'm slowed down. Well, I was a slowdown, not anymore. This should be finished with Yatsunokami. Yeah, there we go. So that was pretty messy. I'll do it again, don't worry. Don't worry, I'll do it again. Reminder that if you feel like you're not gonna die or you want to risk it, you don't need to take the shortcut. I guess that's a bit obvious, but just saying, just in case. Okay, with purity to the sword. There we go. Yeah, sometimes that happens. It's fine. Just don't get hit again. Okay. Kasha. Switch to the Axe. There we go. Now we can punish it with the Yokai Shift. You can change to the Brute. You can parry that. And that as well. There we go. That's another way of doing it. I think it's better actually. So yeah, let's do it one more time, and this time I won't have the Scampuss around, okay? Okay, so here what I'm gonna do is gonna be a more aggressive, faster, but riskier strat. And I'm not gonna explain too much about it. you should see the difference, but I will explain some stuff as they go, okay? So let's go. By the way, you can bait that attack, that arrow attack, that fire arrow, by going to the left of the middle of the door. So you know it will shoot there instead of where you're actually gonna be when opening the door. Alright. There we go. We can get in on that one instead of, you know, waiting outside. It's gonna be more optimal. If you can do it consistently, then kudos to you. Okay, let's go. Switch to Brute, by the way. Parry that, of course. Parry that as well. Basically, the idea is to parry a lot. Okay, that's more or less the strat that I was talking about. As you can see, it's more complex, like I said before. But yeah, skip the cutscene as soon as you see it happening, and yeah, get rid of the Yokai shift. Now, I recommend using, there we go, that, Lantern Plant Fruit, yes, sometimes I forget the name of the items. You don't need more than a Lantern Plant Fruit. I mean, it would be better, but you don't need more. You have more than enough, but, you know. Like, you could use another one if you want. But, you know, it's not super necessary either. Okay. So, yeah, no need to level up. If you do, just put everything on stamina. I prefer to level up on the last mission. Before getting to the fights. So, yeah, Lomisite Fragment is a good backup. It's pretty quick, you get the speed buff. I think it's worth. Another one here. These barrels are actually key region buffs, so that's pretty good. Now, normally you would just take this and go to the door, but in my case, I'll take this. By the way, this is another soul core box that you can get if you want. It's not necessary, we already have one. But yeah, I'm just taking this run just to save my progress and I don't have to do anything of that again because, you know, it's not a whole lot to show. So yeah, let's go to the boss. Okay, so get that. Buff with purity, and now for this boss actually, you're gonna do something a bit like the opposite of what you just did. Like the start is a bit reversed. The idea is to right at the start of the fight do a full heaven and earth, then keep pulse, you know, not keep pulse, flux 2 or flux 1 depending on how you feel like it, to low stance. And dodge, okay. Be careful with her swipes. They will just get rid of all your ki if you're blocking. I should have probably mentioned this before, but block buffering your dodges is a pretty good idea. Or not always, but you know, overall it's better than not doing it. And apart from that, if you do get staggered or something like that, you can remember that you have the feral counter around. But yeah, after that you want to switch to the sword and start doing the same thing as before, you know, just sword key, because these bosses are very fast, they get away really fast, so the most effective way of getting rid of their ki is just sword key with the sword. Remember that the most effective sword key you have is at the bottom. There are some pots around the place. I don't know if... yeah, there they are. So there's those two, there's 3 there. You cannot see the other one is behind the... well, yeah, you can see it actually. Yeah, 3 there. There's 3 more there. And there's... I think that's it. Anyways, so those actually give a lot of key damage to the boss, so take that into account. But in theory, we're not gonna really use them. We're just gonna focus on what's more consistent, because the boss has like range attacks and close attacks, and it can be very messy if you expect her to do it. But if you're in the area, take that into account, because she can just break those and break her key as well. Now, the idea is that the moment that she gets rid of all her key, or just barely, you use Kasha. Okay, because if you don't do it fast enough, it's not gonna work. And then switch back to the axe and do Mad Spinner. Okay, the moment that Kasha is available, runs, you know, the other Kasha runs out and all that stuff, you just do another Kasha and keep Mad Spinning. Okay. Now after the second Kasha, you're gonna do Yatsunokami instead, whenever you can. And then after that, you're just gonna do Heaven and Earth, and then finish the fight with a grapple. Ideally, you would do it with the Yokai Shift grapple, but it depends on what happens in the previous fight, and you know, if you use an Amrita item. If you want to guarantee that to happen, then you can use, I think a Lumisa Crystal should be enough, because you know, we're gonna use like 3 soul cores on red key. It is gonna give you a lot of Amrita, so yeah. Let's go. Switch to high stance for Heaven and Earth. Watch that. Yeah. Switch to the sword. There we go. And start doing sword key. Remember that you need to be fast. There we go. Kasha. Switch to the axe. And start doing Mud Spinner. More. Keep doing Mud Spinner. There we go. Yatsunokami. As you can see, we went from like pretty much 0 to like 80 almost, or like 70 something. So yeah, it's definitely a lot. The fight didn't go well actually, believe it or not. But you know, I can finish it. So let's do it again, and this time I'll do I'll use a Lumisa Crystal to start, okay? Because I'm not really gonna need it on the next mission. So yeah, I guess I would recommend just having your Amrita meter above above 30, I guess. 40 minimum to be on the safe side, I guess. I just didn't really pay too much attention to the Amrita meter, but you know, you can do it. You have time while you're traveling around. I have a Lumisa Crystal. You can use an equivalent to that if you want. Okay. Now with Purity. Okay. Full Heaven and Earth. Flex 2 on low stance. That. And now we switch to the sword. Dodge, dodge, dodge. Take those into account, like I said before. Kasha, and switch to the axe and Mud Spinner too. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. There we go. I did that because it was a bit too early. Yeah, you can finish with Kasha or something. I'll do it again. To Heaven and Earth. Dodge. Switch to the sword. Yeah. If you feel like you're not gonna be able to dodge normally, just use the Feral counter. And yeah, Kasha. There we go. Switch to this. To the axe, and before you build up all the corruption meter, you use another Kasha, so you can set it up right here, and use another Heaven and Earth, followed by a Yokai Shift. Then you can also do this switch, so you can iframe that. And do that. That's, you know, it's not perfect. I probably could refine that finisher, but, you know, it's good enough. It works. So we are not really super interested in drops right now, because we already have everything that we want. So instead of just spending time here getting all this stuff, just go to this spot, okay, this spot, and switch to Nekomata, and go forward, okay? This is the spot where this thing is gonna spawn. It's not gonna spawn immediately, so, but it's not gonna take too long either. So just look at this you know, these crystals right here at the center is gonna be the go forward, okay? Always. So now let's go onwards to the last mission. So yeah, do not forget about the sentience bar meter. But yeah, let's continue. Now the Soha is an interesting spirit, but unfortunately we don't really care enough about it. Like here, I'll show you a bit of the reasoning behind the spirits that we have right now. I don't know if I dwelt into that, but yeah, let's dwell into it before we finish this. So obviously, right here we have Yokai ability damage feral plus 20%. That is really good. That is just gonna buff the Kasha Soul Core a lot. Okay. Like honestly, like Makami is really good overall. Makami is really good. Like we could just do this at a certain point, right? And then we would change it. We would be comparing Makami and Shirohami. Honestly, we could change to Makami at a certain point, but there's no big reason to do so either. Like we could get some more damage from the Yatsunokami, I guess, and also from no, not Kasha, sorry, from the Dreamin Sukuna. I might try this out later, but I don't think it's gonna make a big difference. Anyways, let's just get out and finish this. Distant Dream. Okay, let's get the cutscene. And right after, we're gonna get something that is gonna be particularly useful if you don't have any good amount of Amrit items. Splitting Gem. It's also gonna give us a speed buff. For Kasha. Okay, there we go. Buff with barrier to speed up. And we can use the Spiriting Gem right now. That should give us enough time to interact with this without triggering the enemy right there, the King Key. This item is also pretty interesting, but you don't need it unless you're very low on red spire lilies. Shoutouts to the Red Kappa. There's another interesting item, Missile Crystal. You know, good if you need more Amrita meter. But I'm not planning on using it. Right now what we have is more than enough. Now, you can do... I would do it right now, like I would use the Respire Lily right now. But you can technically do this in any order that you want. If you want to go for the Ongyoki first, you can, instead of using the Lumisa, no, the, what is it called? I forgot the name of the item that I used at the start to give me AT. Instead of doing that, you can just fool your Amrita meter and then go for the Ongyoki first. If not, if you just want to do the Suiki first, which is what I'm gonna do, I recommend in the way using a Red Spire Lily. Now I just level up everything on stamina, and we get a really nice stat. Very nice looking stat. Okay. Now, I'm gonna use the Red Spire Lily here. I already explained where you should have used it, so it's not a big deal. And this upcoming fight, for the most part, should be always the same. I'm not sure if it's like just small differences that I do, or just RNG, but sometimes Suiki reacts differently. It's just that vast majority of the times it reacts in a certain way. So yeah, I'll explain it in a moment. So you can buff if you want, and buff with purity as well. So, the idea is to dash to her, switch to high stance, do a Heaven on Earth, and then wait for her burst attack and counter it. If that doesn't happen, just try to save the situation, and yeah, just try to fight her a bit more. But ideally what's gonna happen, or what should happen, is that she does a burst attack. And after that burst attack you use Kasha, and then you start pursuing her with high stance strong attack or Heaven on Earth. And then once Kasha runs out, use Yatsu no Kami and grapple her, and that should be the end. Okay. High stance. Go. Burst counter. Kasha. 1, 2. There we go. Yatsu no Kami. And that's not good actually, because that's not how it's supposed to do. I'll do it again. I messed it up a little bit. It's fine. Alright, buff with purity. Switch to the other one. Heaven on Earth. Counter. Kasha. Fire Stance strong attack. Heaven on Earth. Yatsu no Kami. And of course she just stops that. But it's fine. we can just do this as well. And drop. Now you get all the stuff, especially the key and the soul core, okay? And then you just use travel amulet, okay? Let's go. Switch to the sword. Reminder that if you do not rest at the shrine, if you do what I'm doing right here, like which is like quitting out every time that I want to do it again, all that stuff, you will not get a checkpoint from using it. So if you want to practice both fights, one after the other, remember to do that to not rest at the shrine. Okay. Otherwise, if you only want to practice one, then just make sure to do that. Now, my sentience bar is too high, so you know the deal. It's like that. Okay, so buff with purity, buff with barrier as well before that, and high stance strong attack is what's normally the best opener. Okay, now with Kasha, you can do this. This fight is actually very concerning. Now, as soon as you grapple, do the same thing as with Yatsu no Kami and pop Yokai Shift to finish the fight. Okay, that was messy. I'll do it again. Alright. Buff with purity. Get in. Yeah. Your objective is the horn and also apply purity. This boss, well, you could think of it as a boss because he's a pain in the fucking ass, honestly. Okay, there we go. Now Yokai Shift. There we go. Now, you can go a bit safer for this fight, of course. So let's try that, okay? Here we. Yeah, let's go with a safer strat, this time with the sword. You might see where this is going. Okay, and make sure to not get with the corruption, because then you will not be able to apply purity. Yeah, it's good. There we go. And now we can just finish the fight, actually. Grapple, and he is dead. I'll do it one more time. A reminder that the less I talk about the fight, the more RNG it is. There we go, it's good. Kasha. Okay, I should have grappled there, but I couldn't. But it's fine. It's fun, actually. It's completely fine. Gonna grapple there and finish the fight. There we go. That's good enough. Get the soul core and get out. That item right there, if I remember correctly, had like a... I don't remember if it was like Respa Lily or the Misa Crystal. Sorry, I don't remember. If you're doing this, you can just check it out quickly. I just forgot to do it. I wasn't thinking about it. Anyways, open this. And you can update your armor, to something a bit better. Quickly. No, that's actually not better. It's okay. It doesn't matter. And yeah, you can get this shrine. This is a safety shrine. But it's probably the quickest one and the one that would like save you the most time almost. Because if you do die here, you would spawn on top, of the elevator. So that means bad news. You're gonna have to call it back. Not great. So yeah. Alright, I'm gonna do this before I forget, actually. I'm gonna save this, actually. Moment. Yeah, so I don't have to do it. That's another thing that you could have done on the elevator, actually. I just forgot. I'm just too rusty. It's been like, I don't know, how many weeks since I last was here. Whatever. You have this rest party over here if you want. Okay. And normally you would not find that Nureonna heading your way because I just waited too long. Just refresh that. Okay. So this is what would normally happen. Buff with Kekai or Barrier. Switch to the axe, and now I'll explain this. So basically, the main source of damage is gonna be well, it's basically Yatsu no Kami. We cannot really trust Kasha because Nightmare Bringer is immune to fire. So while Kasha would not be completely useless, it's better to use Yatsu no Kami. Okay. So at the start, we're just gonna dash to the boss and strafe the first attack. And then start doing either high stance strong attack or dash attack, mid stance, strong attacks. Okay. And then when we have him at you know, decent key, like around half, and he has purity on, we can use Yatsu no Kami. And then after that, Yatsu no Kami is gone and he's on red key, we use it again. Okay. Now after that, he should be pretty much like with 0 key and 0 red key as well. He's gonna give you a lot of time before you can grapple him, or not before you can, but before you cannot grapple him again. And we're gonna take profit of that and do 3 heavier nerfs. Okay. Grapple him, then buff again. You can either do 2 heavier nerfs, buff with purity, grapple, and then buff with barrier, or you just select one of the 2 that you want and do that. You know, like do 3 grapple and buff, and then after that you just do high stance strong attack and see what happens. Depending on what happens, you might be able to do another Yatsu no Kami, and that should be pretty much GG on the fight almost. Watch out for brute attacks. I mean, not burst attacks. So, yeah. Dash, open. Alright. Ooh, okay, that was an unfortunate start actually. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that was a very messy start. It's okay. Yatsu no Kami. Dodge that. Yatsu no Kami again. Cover the nerf. Twice. And 3 times. Grapple. That with kick high. Nice time strong attack. Come on, bro. Another one. Another one. Come on. Okay, that attack is a free punish, pretty much. Yatsu no Kami, and he's dead, honestly. He's actually dead. Yeah, GG. Switch to the sword. And grapple. You can just use this time to just get rid of everything. I'll do it again. Alright. Dodge that. Nice. Mid-stance, dash attack, strong attack combo. Watch that. Now this is good enough for Yatsu no Kami. It was not the best timing for it, but you know, it's okay. You can deal with it. Yatsu no Kami again. There we go. 1, 2. And 3. Grapple. Buff. Then another counter nerf. Then we can use this to dodge that. Yeah, there we go. There we go, counter that. And Yatsunokami, and he's dead. Yatsunokami. Switch. That's pretty much the idea of the fight. You know, you can do all of that. I'll do it one more time just to show more outcomes. See if I can find something a bit more different. So yeah, see in a bit. Okay, weird attack at the start. It's fine. Make sure to dodge that. It gets trickier. Dodge that with a roll. That's the easiest way to dodge that attack. With what we have. Roll. And now we have enough for that. Exactly. There we go. Yatsunokami again. Okay, 1. Flash 2. And 3. Grapple. Buff. And you can also do this as well, by the way. This is gonna be riskier. Oh yeah, that's perfect actually. That's a really good fight actually. Okay, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to show. You know, there's still some stuff, but, you know, too much RNG. Yeah, I hope you liked all of this, but before we finish the tutorial, let's just finish the actual run. Dash to the side a little bit, just forward and to the side a little bit, and that's where the shrine should be. Go forward. End the mission, and in 3, 2, 1, this is when you would stop the timer, when the screen goes black. Now, let's talk about this. While I did enjoy making it every now and then, there was also a lot of time and dedication for this. Right now I'm studying. I'm not gonna get into the details of what. But you know, I don't have as much time as I used to, especially after, you know, not, after taking a break. So yeah, I would appreciate it if you guys made it possible for me to get to 1K subscribers on YouTube. That would be great. We're actually pretty close. We're pretty close. And yeah, if you want to support me, or if you want to request the stuff, I'll leave in the description the Ko-fi page where you can actually request all the stuff, or just support me. Yeah, hope you enjoyed everything. I will not claim that all the strats are as optimal as possible, but overall this route is the product of many months, and yeah, I think overall the route will not change. Just maybe some strats will get a bit more optimized with the time. That could be not what happens, but I would find it quite odd if the route changes in any significant way. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Or on my stream, I guess. Yeah, bye bye. See you.